On the prospect of fleet services, you mentioned that they're only doing a portion instead of all of the suspension of spending. Do you have an understanding as to what they are spending money on?
Well, no, we haven't been, or I haven't been. I can't speak for all members of council, but I haven't been given the list of what we are or are not spending on, or what positions or exactly are on hold with the hiring freeze and such, which I acknowledge was part of the discussion and letter that we put forward. It would be nice to know that information. It's very difficult, and that's my concern with this, is it's very difficult to vote yes and to support council, which is what we're here to do, but you can't do that if you're not a part of it, if you're left out and you're in it feels like you're in a different area or a different atmosphere, because these decisions are happening. They're being brought to us under the guise of we're including you. But I don't know what led to that decision. I don't know what detail or what supporting documents they have, and where did the discussion led? Why did they reach those items that they identified? When are those items launched, and how do we know when they're launched, other than we'll be told? And I find that I cannot do the job that residents want me to do anyways, because I'm not given that opportunity.
Okay. The last question I'll have for you, and it's kind of an open one, is with regards to federal bailout. There seems to last week be a strong concentration on depending on the federal government to fix our finances. I believe on the operational side is where the main crux is looking for. What do you see as the problem if we're dependent on yet another level of government to bail us out, when at the end it's only one taxpayer that pays the bill?
Well, it's a valid point, but at the same time, we have to look to our federal government for support, as they are doing right now with residents and businesses alike. At the end of the day, though, we will have to pay all that back, and we will need to be asking for more at each level of government from the same person. And I'm not opposed to asking for that, and I'm not opposed to keeping our capital projects going and keeping development in our communities going. But we've slowed that down, and we're kind of sitting on this fence waiting and saying we're just going to take money from our reserve fund. We are making some steps to save dollars, but we are. And if you look at the three scenarios before you, a lot of it comes from the reserve fund. I had questions about that, and maybe it's something you can ask, is why in the examples does it say we'll experience a $41 million hit if it ends by July 31st, but if it ends a month later, we actually take less of a hit? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I don't know if it's the math is wrong or they're going to explain it in a different way, but just looking at it, it appears that we're saying it hurts us less by going longer. So I think we could help everybody by reducing those non-essential spends. We could reduce, buying $15 million in fleet vehicles. We could stop buying $8 million in buses, and we could do our part and reduce the amount of money that the federal government would have to give us, as they are everybody else, which in turn reduces the impact on taxpayers and residents, our residents.